Okay, it's 1968. Here we are at Xuan Loc, South Vietnam. Picture here, we're looking east toward GRA Mountain. Xuan Loc, South Vietnam. Got there in June 68. Departed July 69. This is some of the housing there of the dependents live of the Vietnamese soldiers. And this is taken from a helicopter, as you can see. We're headed westbound along Highway 1, headed from Xuan Loc into Bien Hoa. And this, as you can see, is the town of Xuan Loc. It's a fairly large town by Vietnamese standards. To the north, to the east there, you see GRA Mountain. They call it Signal Mountain. Had a signal relay up there, radio relay. And again, Highway 1 headed westbound toward Bien Hoa. This is near Trang Bom, a big rubber plantation owned by the French, Michelin Rubber Plantation. Like I said, it's French owned. Looking north, that's War Zone D, nasty place. Again, War Zone D, nasty place, very, very nasty. The jungle there looks peaceful, but down there is snakes and crocodiles and tigers and the enemy too, of course. It's a pretty country, very pretty country. Very pretty country. Some of the prettiest beaches in the world, South Vietnam. China Beach, Cam Ranh Bay, Vung Tau. Here's the city of Trang Bom. And again, the jungles. Peaceful looking jungles. Some of the trees are 200 feet tall, believe it or not. Triple canopy jungle, that is. And here, if you look closer, you can see some bomb craters. They had a battle here night before last, or the night before, and had to call in some airstrikes, and you can see some of the bomb craters there. There in the distance is the Dong Nai River. Everything north of that is War Zone D. North of the river. The river runs east and west. Everything north is War Zone D. And this is a view from the cockpit of the helicopter we're flying. It's Captain Hall and Lieutenant York, the co-pilot. That's a small settlement outside of Xuan Loc there. A few huts. Again, some more bomb craters you can see. This is a battalion commander. With the battalion I advise, Major Sun. If you look on the left side of his face, you can see a scar where he gets shot in the face in combat. This division, by the way, is the 18th ARVN Division. It was the last division to fight in Vietnam during the last days of Vietnam, the last 55 days of Vietnam in 1975 in April. And this division was originally called the 10th Division. And they were really bad as far as combat effectiveness went. And they changed them to the 18th Division, and they became very good for some reason. New commander, I imagine, but they fought real well when I was there. The year I was with them, they fought real well. And like I said, during the last days of Vietnam, in 75, they fought the very last battle in South Vietnam before Vietnam fell. This is again the 18th Division. Some of the officers, some of the American officers were advisors. The guy drinking the water there, Lieutenant Sepikov, the black hair and the black glasses on, he got shot in the stomach and survived, believe it or not. He laughed about it like it was over. There he is again. From Brooklyn, New York, Lieutenant Sepikov. Some of the jungle there, some of the greenery. I can't tell what that is right there, just close up, I guess. Here we're back at base camp at Nuyen, which is an old French fort the French used during their war there. Getting ready to move out somewhere on some kind of combat operation we are. I can't remember where. These are the Vietnamese getting ready to move out there. They're all loaded up, packed up, ready to go. No, where was it in Vietnam that the Vietnamese wouldn't fight? Some units wouldn't fight. Well, this unit was a real good unit. For some reason, they were a real good unit. That's me there, cleaning my M16 rifle there, back at base camp, tearing it apart there and getting it cleaned up. One of the few breaks we had in the war, that I had in the war anyway. You can sit down and relax and clean your weapon and drink a beer or whatever. That's me right there, 1968. That was our base camp, and I spent, out of 1 year there, I spent 3 nights at that base camp out of 1 year. You can see how pretty it is up there. It's a nice base camp, old French fort, like I said, but I spent 3 nights out of 1 year I spent there in base camp. The rest of the time we were in the field somewhere. That's Highway 1 again, looking eastbound. Now you see some armored personnel carriers and tanks from the 11th Army Cavalry out of Black Horse. They're headed westbound on Highway 1, going somewhere, I'm not sure. Anyway, they were commanded by Colonel Patton, who was the son of General George S. Patton, Jr. This is Colonel Patton. Colonel George S. Patton III, who later became Major General and retired in Fort Hood, Texas. This here is the dependence quarters of the Vietnamese Army. And these are some of their vehicles, the American vehicles that they own, or that they have, American vehicles. The film's a little fuzzy here. It's not your VCR, it's the film. It's a little fuzzy, that's all. But this is base camp, Nuyen. And this is the building we were housed in. And that's the best friend I had in Vietnam, Corporal Took. He was our radio operator and cook and whatever else, bodyguard and whatever else he did for us. Play guitar. Again, there goes one of Colonel Patton's armored vehicles, tanks, on the way to battle somewhere. And eastbound there, you see that little white taxi cab. That's a Vietnamese taxi, a Lambretta, they're called. That's a big convoy there coming out of Black Horse. And again, back at base camp, Vietnamese, 18th ARVN Division. One of the mechanics here, one of the vehicle mechanics. If your Jeep broke down, that's who you went to see. They fix it in a flash. This is the Vietnamese Battalion Sergeant Major. He's tall for Vietnamese, rough fella. Been in that battalion 30 years, there he is. Been in that same battalion 30 years fighting that war. That's amazing. And again, the old French fort, as you can see the old radio tower on top. Now this is the officers' quarters, believe it or not, compared to ours. That's officers' quarters for the dependents. And again, this is a view from up in Nuyen. Rubber plantation. We're about 60 miles northeast of Saigon here. That's road miles, about 35 air miles. Some of the Vietnamese vehicles in the motor pool there. That's me playing the guitar, trying to anyway. We're on Highway 20, which comes up at Highway 1 at a place called Yao Ye, and runs into the Central Highlands. What we're doing here is securing the engineers. They're putting a new road in, and we're there for security purposes. Easy duty. Sleep all night. I did anyway, and went to the village during the day and eat Chinese soup and just relax for the most part, whenever you could. You see how we slept there on the folding cots with our ponchos over to keep the rain and dew off us. That was our Jeep there. That's the Vietnamese cooking there, cooking their dinner or whatever. This is the same place. Long Highway 20. The picture's fading here. It's not your VCR, it's just the film is very old. This film's 23 years old. It's a little fuzzy there. Start your VCR. This is in the same area, just fuzzy film here. The film's fading, what it is. Like I said, it's 23 years old. That's again our old French fort there. That's the prison. That's their stockade right there. See that little building there? That was a stockade there. Barbed wire. That's where they put their bad boys for a day or two out in the hot sun. If they did something wrong. Now we're on operation here. I think we're being sniped at here, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, we're being sniped at here, and we're holding up to catch this sniper. If I'm not mistaken, we can see him in the film here. If we look close, if I'm not mistaken, we can look close here. As he took again, our radio operator, one of the Vietnamese officers, American Major, Lieutenant Slepikoff. Look in the background, you see this enemy, this NVA sniper. You'll see him shortly. I think that's him in the blue shirt coming down the trail there. In a minute you see him raise his hands, I believe. Just watch here now, maybe not. This is Firebase Penny, southeast of Xuan Loc. That's me getting ready to shave there. There I am. Ready to shave, like I said. I'm not sure where this is. Probably near Firebase Penny again. About 2 nights before this, I killed a big snake, a big python, 17 feet long. Vietnamese ate it, cooked it, and said it was really good. Vietnamese officer there. This film's fuzzy here, fading, but you can see what we're doing here, teaching the Vietnamese how to fire the M60 machine gun. We just got them in for them, for the Vietnamese, and we're training them how to fire the M60 machine gun. It's a little fading a little bit. You can see this little here, little bit here. Yeah, you can see what's fired. Take a few steps and fire it again. See the dust flying from the bullets up in front. They learned fast. They really learned fast weapons. They took weapons too. They cleaned them, took care of them very, very well. They were fast learners. They were eager to learn. They were very good soldiers from my part. From my experience with them anyway, they were very good. Very tough soldiers. It's a rubber plantation taken from the Nuyen Mountain. Acres and acres of rubber trees. Michelin rubber plantation, owned by the French. They use Vietnamese cheap labor and make millions off of them. These rubber plantations, they do. And they're neutral in the war. You know, they don't favor the Americans or the enemy. They're just neutral. There to make money. I think this is the part where the NVA sniper, yeah, this is the part where the sniper was. See him holding his hands up? He's up a tree sniping at us. That's him right there. That's the sniper was shooting at us up there. There he comes. Okay, here we're on operation. Base of War Zone D, the foot of War Zone D. Thick jungle. Very hot, 115 degrees, 120 degrees maybe. Very hot. If you look close on this film, you'll see an enemy soldier here, a battalion right there. You can see right in the center of the film there, moving through the jungle. And there's some right there on the edge of the jungle. At this point, I had to put my camera down and start firing, so we didn't get much of the NVA battalion other than those few people here. Here we are on the move again, crossing the stream. This area here was rich with wild fruit, bananas, wild grapefruit, berries, all kinds of stuff you could eat off the trees. Very fertile ground. This is a fairly open area in Vietnam here we're moving through. But it's rough country though, up and downhill constantly. What you see on the ground there is those rocks. Those are actually, that's an old volcano. Those are all volcano rocks from an old volcano in Vietnam, centuries ago. But what it is lava rock. Fellow in the flop hat right there, a tall fellow, that's Lieutenant Colonel Bick. He's a regimental commander. He's a very tough soldier too, very professional. Here we are stretched out, moving through the jungle. Fairly open terrain, not thick jungle. You see how far we are spread out. This is a battalion of about 500 men. That's how we move through the jungle, stretch out like that. Taking a break here, I imagine. We're sitting now taking a break. Again, those old lava rocks, that old volcano there. This is at Th Nuyen. This is about 10 miles south of a place called Dong Sai Special Forces Camp, where Captain Roger Donlin won the first Medal of Honor in Vietnam. We're about, like I said, 8 or 10 miles south of that area. This is a very, very bad area. It's near, well, it's near a place called the Iron Triangle. Very bad area. There goes a CH-47 Chinook carrying supplies. This is our base camp. Right there you see a landmine that he dug out of the ground that the enemy had planted the night before. Again, that's where the soldier dug into the berm, lived. It's a monsoon season, as you can see the water there. Rained every day. Again, the Chinook here. You see the smoke in the background. There's a battle going on about 8 miles away, 4 miles away, whatever it is. That Chinook is taking in resupply food and ammunition, water. But you see the smoke rising in the background. There's a battle going on there. This is the Vietnamese graveyard. This was either a village chief or some prominent politician or something there, buried there. There you see water buffalo. And this building here was blown apart. The Viet Cong gone in there and wouldn't leave, so we had to blow them out of there, and that's what happened to the building here. Had to blow it apart to get them out of there. And there's the Dong Nai River. Very pretty scene. And there's a typical Vietnamese pig. It's a marketplace, really. In the morning, this place is bustling with activity. They're selling vegetables and fruits and whatever. And this is a road going to base camp out of Th Nuyen. And like I said, this is our job to open this every morning. And here comes some tanks and armored vehicles from the Big Red 1, the 1st Infantry Division. This is where I first saw Lieutenant Colonel Haig, who was battalion commander with the division here, and later became General Haig and Secretary of State under Ronald Reagan, President Ronald Reagan. That's where I first saw him. They were on their way to Xuan Loc, north of us here, and they're stopping there to rest and recuperate, I guess. But this is the Big Red One, the 1st Infantry Division. Didn't mess around. Brought smoke on you, on the enemy. These are APC 113s, armored personnel carriers. They're moving out now, going, like I said, going to Xuan Loc.
Anybody here?